Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down!
This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Hey guys, it's Friday. It's time for the Retro Buzz, and I'm not quite there yet, but I'm almost got my voice completely back. But we're here. We're gonna have a good time, and we've got with us, making his official debut, nonetheless. Always got to make an entrance. Glenn Planamento.
Hi, everybody. It's Friday. Thank God.
Nothing like waiting until the last minute for you to join, right?
Well, it's in my contract. If I give you 1 minute and 15 seconds, that's 15 seconds too much.
Oh, and joining with us, we've got Mr. Cool Toy himself, Doug.
I'm glad one of us is not a prima donna.
Right? It's always this guy. Always.
Yeah.
But we want to welcome everybody here. We want to say what's up, Mark. In the chat room, Mark Whitman, Adam, Cal, Juan, Para, Hollywood Polo. Who else do we got in here? Scott Gray, Paul Barnes, Pat Lepre, Mike Hawk, John J. Scott Gray. And who do you got, Glenn? Who's over in your chat room hanging out?
We got Jen, we got Wood, we got Bonds, we got myself, I'm in there too. We have Adam Caleb, we have BA, and we have Doug coming up next.
The whole professionalism went out the window, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, how do you follow that? No.
So, who do you got?
Special shout out to Matthew. Yeah, Matthew Moreno, Danny's Game Room, Jay Heath 5150, and Gene Maddox. So thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us as we've got a ton of really, really good news today. Well, I shouldn't say it's good news, but it's a good news program, right? We've got, so far, there's not really...
I mean, isn't that how the news always works, though? It's like everything on, the news starts with good evening, and then it's followed by nothing but terrible news stories that depress you, and you're like, oh, is it really a good evening?
Well, and so, we have a bunch of news stories that we want to talk about, and believe it or not, hardly any of it has to do with the arcade stuff this week. Because the companies have been kind of quiet this week, but we're going to take
Not
you.
This guy.
Well, yeah, not this guy. You got to watch his video that he happened to do right before the show, so he showed up late. That's just how it is. But we got This Week in Gaming News.
All right, the bad news.
Bad
so.
news.
Yeah, as Steven alluded, unfortunately, we're going to start the program with some little sombering bad news, just to get it out of the way so we can move forward with the good news and get everybody's spirits lifted up. But unfortunately, the news came out that on Monday, unfortunately, the original architect of the NES and the SNES unfortunately passed away on Monday at the age of 78. Masayuki Uemura, unfortunately, is no longer with us. Obviously, to say he was an integral part of probably everybody watching this program's childhood is an understatement, to say the least. Like I said, the guy not only founded the NES or create the NES and the SNES, but he also had an integral part in other things like the NES Zapper. He was also in some game development, so like the original Nintendo golf game, I think Ice Climber, a couple other games. So I mean, he was really a jack of all trades. Very huge part of Nintendo as far as their initial just launch, so to speak. I mean, this guy, without him, Nintendo definitely would not be where they are today, and a lot of us would not be gamers, if it were not for him. So may he rest in peace, unfortunately.
Yep. You don't know how the American market would have been. I mean, remember, we had the gaming crash here in the States, and that NES kind of resurrected it. So it's kind of interesting to think of how it might have been different and how long, because you only had Atari with the 78 coming out and maybe the Sega Master System, which probably wouldn't have happened because that was being made because of the NES. So,
Yeah, it's a shame. I saw that yesterday, and I was like, it's like a piece of your childhood just vanished because I mean the innovator, right? I mean when.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was.
Man.
I forget what company it was. Maybe it was Sharp. He started somewhere as
Sharp.
electronic.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. He started somewhere with them originally as electronic engineer, and then came over to Nintendo. And he said his original task that he was basically handed was create arcade games that play in the home. So I mean, that's where the NES kind of started. Nintendo was making these really unsophisticated TVs that had games built into them prior to that were really lackluster, to say the least. And then he came on board, and they kind of devised a way, how can we kind of get arcade-esque games in the home console, or create a home console for these games. And then lo and behold, the NES was born.
it is kind of funny because when he was at Sharp, it was called something else. It's called Sharp now, obviously. But he was doing like photovoltaics, like for the like Zapper and things like that when they brought him over there. And apparently, the president of Nintendo at the time was a bit of a drinker. Surprise. And he would task him with things when he was drunk, and the next day he's like, "Why are you doing that?" It's like, "Well, you kind of told me to." It's like, "No, you don't do that. Stop that." So one day he came to him, a little inebriated. He said, "I want you to make a cartridge-based console." So he's like, "All right." And this time he's like, "I'm not gonna bother about it." Next morning he comes over sober. He's like, "You're working on that, right?"
Where's that console at?
Where's the console?
Where's that console?
Yeah, I'm on it. So it's funny how these things happen. It really is. And he said himself, like Atari back in the day. I'm always going to go back to Atari. You know me. That was kind of like their benchmark, because at that time Atari was still huge in the community, and so he was kind of basing a lot of stuff. He was taking consoles from other manufacturers, taking them apart, going as far as having the chips plastic melt off it so he could look at the ICs themselves and inspect them. So he did a lot of research by himself before anyone even got involved with making the NES console. So this guy put a lot of time and effort in, brought millions and millions of people some happy times and happy memories. And I wish him the best, and I hope he's resting in peace and playing some good games up there.
Reinventing the Atari the way it should have been built?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
I mean, not only
Everything
that,
happens for
it's
a
like
reason.
to immediately follow it up with the Super Nintendo as well. So I mean, it'd be enough for a legacy just to be involved with the creation of the original NES. But he's like, no, here's my greatest hits, the greatest hits, period.
Right.
I mean,
Right. The only thing that
quite,
comes
quite
close,
the achievement.
the only thing that come close to that was the Oreo, followed by the double stuff.
Yeah,
That was it.
I get. Oh, I thought he froze there for a second.
That was his mic drop.
Oh, that
moment,
was
I
his mic.
suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before,
I spent like $10 for this mic, so I don't want to drop it.
yeah, please don't do that. So something else happened. Like I messaged Glenn earlier this week, and of course, you all know I'm building a museum here. So I showed him this Atari Lynx setup.
Damn you.
The box,
Yeah.
the games.
Yet another example of Steven finding, gems out there when most normal folks like Glenn and myself are like being teased with a dirty old copy of Nintendo's, Mario Duck Hunt with with a half-eaten dust sleeve that has Jimmy written on the front of it with Mark. Yeah, for $300. Meanwhile, Steven's getting this stuff for how much?
So they originally wanted $225 for it, but the speakers don't work in there. And Glenn said it could be possible. There's a clip or something that goes bad, Glenn.
There's a couple things. The Model 1, the speaker can actually go bad, period.
Mhm.
But Best Electronics, the best website from 1991 to this very day, still there, 1991, Best Electronics will sell you a replacement speaker, and they have pretty much all the parts for it. I personally like the one you have. That's the original Lynx.
Right. It has
I
circle
like that better.
buttons. Circle buttons instead of
Yeah.
square buttons for the
Yep.
A and B or 1 and 2.
Right. And so there's certain things that don't go bad. The speaker's one. If it's not that, a capacitor most likely went bad. But I'm going to bet you $12 for a new speaker will fix it right up.
So they wanted $225. I said to him, how about 150? I shot real low because, if it is a
Because you hope to meet
capacitor,
in the middle somewhere.
well, yeah, I was hoping to be around like 175, 180. She wrote back. She says 185. I waited a whole day, and I wrote her back. I was like, ugh. I said, let me think about it. I said, because if it is a capacitor, it could be a costly repair. So I'm going to counter it and try to meet her in the middle at 175.
Mhm.
Which technically, that's a huge steal for this because most of them with the box, even if the box is destroyed, is ranging around $399, $400 without any
Well,
games.
yeah, I mean, the
Yep.
the boxes for these older systems and games, things are over 30 years old at this point. I mean, they're
Yeah.
worth their weight in gold at that point because you can't make them again. I mean, you get reproductions one, but it's obviously not the same.
Right.
And you can tell right away if it's a reproduction. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that is the truly obscure thing to find is, good condition, boxing, packaging, all that type of stuff.
So that's why I'm kind of
Now, this came,
give it a
you
little
said,
bit.
from a lady, right?
Yeah, it's on in my local area. It's on Facebook Marketplace.
Was
So-
it a divorce? She took it from the husband?
No, I
Selling
think
it cheap?
no, I think she's still married. I think I almost think it's the same.
Glenn,
I
how
can't
dare
think-
you? She might be the number one Atari fan in the world, has a massive collection, and here you are just being sexist Glenn, as always, trying to presume that just because she's female, she could have no sort of attachment to this Atari Lynx. How
Thank
dare you,
for
sir?
backing up my point, Doug. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate it. Always backing me up.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the same couple that sold me the Power Glove when I got it. I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You just need to go hang out at their house and see what's like,
Well,
what they got in the attic or
so-
the basement or whatever, because it sounds like they got some good stuff that they're willing to part with.
Yeah, because they messaged me. They also have a PS2 version. I think it's Code Veronica. I think it is
The game?
Resident Evil,
Yeah,
but it's worth like $85, $90, and they're like,
Good game.
yeah, like $25. We'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think
They're like,
Well,
look
yeah,
at
but
it.
you're not looking to flip this stuff either, though.
Oh no.
No.
I'm collecting.
Yeah.
I told him that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to sell. I'm trying to preserve it, and let's just be honest. The Atari Lynx system, I'm not going to sit there and play. I might play it because I've never had one. I might play it a little bit, but it's going to sit up on the shelf with the other ones as a part of the collection, part of the
Collector
room.
item. Mhm.
But I don't
fun fact.
want it to die. I'm
Fun-
not going to put it in a
fun
bag
fact.
like this guy.
That Lynx came out a mere 2 months after the release of the Game Boy. Full
Yeah,
color,
and
4,096 colors. But
ambidextrous
Atari-
controls.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. I can use both hands. But the problem was Nintendo, just like with Sega, had the licenses locked up for everything. Atari had to make the game themselves, and it
And
failed.
they were bad games.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an Atari console anyway. Epix designed it.
Mhm.
So
They just put a brand name on it and did some horrible
Right.
marketing, and that's what you get. You get
But
second
it's rare.
place.
It's rare. It's kind of like the Turbo Express. If I got one of those, I would play it all the time as a portable. This one probably not. It's going to sit like the Game Gear. They ran their course. They ran their time. But it's without getting into an argument here with Glenn, it is a holy grail console. They're hard to get.
I'll
They're
give
hard
it.
to find.
I'll give you that one.
Okay.
In terms of scarcity, for sure.
Scarcity. Yeah. I'm not
It is.
saying that it's like it's on everybody's hit list, but trying to find something like this in good condition and in the box,
Oh, for sure.
it's rough, man.
Yes, I'm going to tell you right now, the one thing to worry about, there is a resistor in the power circuit that is known to fail. And if it should fail, it'll pump more voltage than the chips can take. It's going to fry it. So I'll find out what that is, and maybe we should get that changed out for you.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
That goes,
Like,
it's poof, done.
if changing out the speaker wire, if I get it, changing it
That's
out doesn't work, I can always ship it to you, pay you to look it over, change whatever you got to
And I'm
change in
sure it'll come back.
it. What's that?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It'll make it back to you, is what he said.
Yeah.
Box of sand, which I got another one of those today.
Did you
I
really?
returned from Amazon. A beautiful box of sand.
Oh
With
no.
a syringe
you
in it
could've-
somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. There's
Yeah.
a prize in a Cracker Jack box. It's diseases.
I just thought, I was sharing it with these guys, and Glenn kept saying, I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you in our group
Well, the
chat.
Power Glove, honestly, the Lynx was a good one, but you've gotten a lot of the good ones. That Power Glove was an excellent one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not a great device,
No.
but for the nostalgia factor, it's beautiful shape.
Yeah.
And you got a really good deal on it.
And honestly, my son never played with it. He thought it was the coolest thing in the world. He was playing Punch Out by going like this, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. Now where is it? It's hanging on my wall because it'll never probably be touched again, which is fine.
Yeah.
It really is. It's fine.
But I mean, it's the Power Glove. It's an awesome decoration in itself. Like,
Eh,
even
yeah.
if it doesn't work, you put it on the wall and you're like, that's the freaking Power Glove.
That's the 100%. That's my logic behind it. So, but yeah. So another big game of the last decade, probably even longer. Doug, why don't you
20
talk about
years.
it? Campaign
Yeah,
overview.
So we finally got the new Halo came out this week. It was originally supposed to be the Xbox Series X, launch title a year ago, and came out with a trailer that everybody said looked like it was a generation and a half old. So it immediately made Microsoft and team say, "Wait a minute, is this really as ready and polished as we think it is?" So they kind of went back to the drawing board, reworked some stuff, and a year later, here we are getting the new Halo, which is getting, for the most part, everything I can see, generally positive reviews. Obviously, there's going to be different opinions out there no matter what, but for the most part, the overwhelming consensus is it's been a good game, and everybody's essentially okay with the wait now that they've seen the actual ending results. So the weird thing Microsoft did on this one is they released multiplayer first, kind of like in its own little thing, and then this week's release was the actual, campaign mode, the game itself, if you will. I know a lot of people, similar to Battlefield and Call of Duty, treat Halo in the sense that a
Fortnite.
lot of them don't even play the campaign; they just play nothing but multiplayer. So,
Fortnite.
it's Fortnite. I mean, there you go. PUBG, all those type of things. There's people that are kind of transitioning to that business model where it's like, hey, let's just do multiplayer only, and then maybe offer some pay to win stuff in there. EA, I'm looking at you, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. Halo 5 didn't really do it for me so much, but I'm excited to actually have something to finally play on my Xbox Series X. I literally haven't turned it on in like 4 months, so I was happy to
More
be
game
able to.
titles on this than on the PlayStation 5.
No, I don't agree
They're
with
both
that.
pretty. They're still both pretty scarce in terms.
Yeah,
of
I was going
games,
to say
but
they're
mean,
probably equally diminished, but I do think PlayStation 5 has a few more games than Xbox. I don't know why.
But either way, I mean,
but
the
it
Xbox
does.
didn't feel like Xbox without a Halo
Right.
title. So
100%.
by God, we got the Halo title finally.
It's like Nintendo dropping a Nintendo without Mario, essentially.
Correct. Yeah.
Um,
It just feels weird and icky.
There's just one problem. I can
Uh-oh.
go out right now to my local Walmart and buy a Series S, which I don't want digital because I'll spend like 600 plus. Finding the Series X is like finding a PlayStation 5.
Well, I think Microsoft wants that.
Yeah. I mean, as long as
they
the
want you to do it
PlayStation
anyway.
5 is scarce, they want that to be, because I mean, they don't want people paying $900 for, resold PS5s on eBay when somebody can walk into the store and pay, retail price for the Series X. I mean, because that makes the outside viewer looking in look, hey, this is an inferior system. Like, I can just walk into the store and find it, whereas everybody else is still paying double price for this PlayStation 5. So I think a lot of that is actually forced intentional scarcity in that regard.
But it's not digital. I don't. Again, we're all big proprietors here of
physical
media. So think about this. Right now, there's a special $300 for the Xbox Series S. Parents that are in the chat room, pay attention to this. This is your math lesson for today. They are doing a special for $24.99 for the first 2 years of digital. So do the math on that. After 2 years, you're actually spending more than you would be spending for the Series X in physical form. But it doesn't look like that up front.
Well, I mean, that's how everybody gets you. I mean, that's how loans work. That's how payment plans work.
I get it, but you
always get
own it.
You get the product now, and you pay for it over a long period of time, and then when you do all the math, it's like, oh wow, I paid significantly more than I should have for this product.
I mean, Doug, you bought the Series X. Glenn, if you were going to buy it, you would probably buy the Series X. You're not going to buy the S for all digital.
No, I am so against digital only.
Mm-hmm. I think the only thing good in the digital sense, personally, is when you are doing any kind of streaming of gameplay, or in the sense of
being able to get your game out there into the world. That's
right.
Cool. I love that connectivity feature. But as far as bringing it down to the system and being restricted to only having some ones and zeros on a hard drive that represent your ownership of a product, no, thank you. I want something physical in my hand that says I have this in my possession.
Yeah, and $24.99. So let me pull this comment up here because this is correct. This is for their what's called Game Pass. $24.99 gets you access to the library of games. The problem I have with that is, if your internet is down, you have a paperweight.
Or servers.
I know you can
shut them down. You got nothing.
But I know you can download the game to the internal hard drive. I get it on a digital, so it plays faster. I get that. But like Glenn just said, if the server's having an issue, it's still got to talk to the server at some point to let it know that you have access to play this game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a problem with physical media nowadays too, though, because there's so much stuff that's out there that's locked onto a server, whether it be the connectivity. It doesn't matter if you had the Series S or the Series X and you want to play Halo and the servers go down, you're SOL. I mean, you're not playing and simple. So I mean, it's not exactly solely, restrictive for digital only consoles, but I mean, we've mentioned this numerous times in the past. Say for whatever reason you want to sell, you want to upgrade, you want to transition to whatever new system, and you take in your system into wherever. Let's just hypothetically GameStop, because they'll give you $3 for it, because that's how GameStop does. But
really, yours gives $3? Mine only gives $2.50.
You can walk into a GameStop with an Xbox and say, "Hey, I've got 20 games downloaded on this hard drive, and how much are you going to give me for it?" And they're going to tell you, "I'm going to give you the same price if you'd walked in here with 0 games on it." It doesn't matter. They're going to strip it down, wipe it out, and then sell it. So, from a resale perspective, or getting your money back on the secondary market, it just doesn't exist for digital media. So that's another reason why, for whatever reason, I much prefer physical media. God forbid I lose income and I need to purge things and recoup some of the money. Can't do that with digital.
No, and like movies nowadays, just because of room, I don't buy physical copies unless it's a movie that I really, really love. I hate to say that, but I am digital.
My Fair Lady?
Well, I am digital because I like to watch it on my phone or my tablet or my computer sometimes. Or my kids want to watch it. So this way they're not handling a disc. So when it comes to DVDs, I will go digital. And like Scott's saying here in the chat room, Scott Gray, he goes, I travel 40 weeks a year, so I'm 100% digital. I get it. If your life revolves around you traveling, you do. But
you live in a studio apartment in New York City that's $3,000 a month and it's 600 square foot. Absolutely, digital makes sense for your lifestyle.
Or a flash cart in an Atari 2600. We're all set.
Yeah.
1,000 games.
So Sam, I think SMJ says Xbox is available, but you have to buy a 2-year membership of Game Pass.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're kind of locked into that. Like if you want to if you want to play it, but again, $25. If I had a young kid that's younger than Daniel's age, and he was getting into video games, I would buy the Series X for myself, the S for him, because I don't want him messing with physical discs, scratching them, potentially breaking them, losing them. Let him play digital. That's where I think it kind of comes in handy. But then I also know that the chances of that console making it past 2 years at that age, it really doesn't matter because either the components are going to break or he's going to break it.
Yeah.
I'm just being real, right?
Lesson learned: you don't give a 5-year-old an Xbox Series X.
No, but there are people out there.
That's the simple solution.
But there's people out there
100%.
doing
there's
that.
people
That's
out
what I'm
there that
saying.
do that. Yeah. That's a bold strategy. You kind of know how that story plays out before it even starts, but I mean,
Well,
each their own. Everybody's got a parent. differently.
Daniel had the Switch since he was 5, I think. He got his first Switch. He was 5 when it first came out, and he took care of it. We had it in a protecting, like he babied that thing. Like you would think a 5-year-old be, he took care of it. So I mean, I'm not saying every kid's gonna, and he traded
Yeah, I
it
mean,
for the OLED.
everyone's different.
Yeah, no, I get that. But also with him, we had to take care of his games because he would just stick them in the zipper pouch instead of sticking them in the actual pouch, and we didn't want him losing them.
Gotcha.
So, and they grew up around technology. Not every kid grows up around technology. So, I don't know, man. Like, I really want the Xbox Series X because I want to play Halo. I don't want Halo 2 for the Series X coming out by the time I get a Series X.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not playing scalper prices, and I want the physical version just like I got the PS5 physical version. So what do you do?
Well, if you're Glenn, you just leave it in the box and you don't worry about it.
That's
Oh,
Knows me
yeah.
well.
I don't know. So Shoeshine says it's almost all digital at this point. Media takes up too much space, but I still want the X over the S. 4K, baby. Listen, I agree. Like, I don't even like it that Fortnite, because I was telling Doug earlier, I was playing Fortnite today with my kids and a friend of ours, and we were getting Victory Royale after Victory Royale. The problem is, I told him they had a Spider-Man skin because of the new movie, and I really wanted
That's how
it.
they get you.
So I spent $30 on V-Bucks so I could get the levels to get it, because I already got close, and I don't have time like my kid to play it. But what happens all of a sudden if Fortnite shuts down their servers?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't play the
Well,
game
first of
ever
all,
again, right?
Fortnite is going to make so many billions before I even finish the sentence that I mean it's not in the realm of possibility until the government steps in and forces them to shut down their service. But yeah, I mean that's the inherent problem of, like we've mentioned, the digital only content. I mean, if someone flips a switch, you're SOL. And it's happened to these older systems and their games and their servers. Like there was like the PlayStation 3 store that shut down recently.
Yeah,
you have to be hopeful that the community gets their own servers. If they get the code, they run their own servers, which they've done. There's been other games where they have community servers for these games, but there's no guarantee that'll happen for your game.
no, and that's where the core of the game you need to own it. Anything that you're putting money into, you need to own it. But again, if you look at your terms of service, you own the rights to use that game,
right?
That update, that feature, whatever it is, for the life.
You don't own the game. You own the rights.
You own the rights
until they say you don't.
Until they say it's done. So if you look at it, software is the same way. You don't actually own Windows. You don't actually own Mac OS or any other software. You own the rights to use that on your PC or Mac. That's the reality. It's not like it used to be.
Thanks, Bill Gates.
Yeah. So speaking of Halo, Doug, there's other Halo news, right?
Is he frozen?
I think Doug just kicked the bucket.
Look how perfect. Look at that face. Just look at him. That is a perfect example of a man right there.
That's we'll wait and see if he ends up coming back. So what happened was, I know he's experiencing some thunderstorms. You know, I don't know what, but he is experiencing some thunderstorms. So we'll have to see what happened. Okay, he said
we could talk about.
he just texted me. He's
Is
a
he
big.
back?
No, he's texted me. He said, "Big lightning strike." He said he's hoping his router just rebooted, so he's hoping
1.21
it'll go.
gigawatts.
He did tell me before this, so guys, have some patience. So if his quality goes in and out, it's because of the storms. He's got storms coming through. He's coming back in. Glenn, why don't you talk about really quick while I get Doug back on? Talk about your products. Your video is now your products are now in
Yes.
Micro Center, right?
You giving me a chance to talk about my stuff once again? I'm humbled.
You're on the
But
clock.
yes. Yes. So Micro Center and I have come to an agreement where they're going to be the exclusive seller for now for my version 3 trackball, my steering wheel, and my standard Tron joystick, which is this one here, right? But we're very close to releasing that one there, Tron stick with the deflector button. So Micro Center, they've been really, really good to work with. And when I went to there, the video I did right before I came on here, it's just great walking through those brick and mortar stores. You know, you don't have Fry's anymore or Circuit City and Radio Shack. And I really miss those stores. Sometimes I go in not intending to spending or buy anything, but then you go down these aisles and you're like, oh wow. Next thing you know, you walk out and spend $300 when you went
Of his own products. Of his own products.
Yeah. Glenn,
Someone's
you
gotta
know
buy my
why
stuff.
Circuit Cities, Fry's, Radio Shacks, places like that are no longer in business? Because they
weren't
allow
carrying
people
my
to walk
stuff.
in their store with a baseball bat with a chain on it and just
Was he there?
cause havoc within the aisles.
Was he there?
I seen it. I seen a
Really?
madman, Neeglin, walking around harassing people at the Micro Center. So I gotta assume that's part of the downfall of those other, electronic companies was they allow that sort of thing to happen.
Well, I know he's got a GPS on me somewhere, but I did not know he was there.
Well, you lucked out by not crossing paths with him.
It's a big store. The wall of monitors alone, I was blown away with those beautiful screens. I have this VGA screen, 640 by 480, and I understand they have higher resolution than that now. So
Yeah.
dying to see what they can do.
They have a lot bigger
Is
resolution.
it VGA yet?
Well, it was good. At least we had that to talk about really quick while we were getting Doug back. But
Yeah, sorry.
no,
I
you're
got
you're
bad
good.
weather around me, so
I was telling everybody
But,
you had bad weather. So we got Halo on the same topic of Halo. What do we got?
we got a Halo TV series. So they've been trying to do like a Halo movie for years. Peter Jackson was tied to it for a little while, and it never got off the ground. But lo and behold, we're getting a Halo TV series on Paramount Plus of all things. So yet another subscription service to add to your collection, because that's everybody cut cable. Then all these companies made their own thing, and now it's back to the same thing.
Made it
But either
worse.
way, yeah, made it worse essentially. But either way, this looks freaking amazing. It's just a teaser trailer. We still don't really have a whole lot of details. We just know that this is coming out sometime in 2022. Don't know, early, middle, late, whatever, as of yet. But as far as nailing the look, the aesthetic, the special effects and everything, I mean, this looks great, especially this shot right here.
Yeah.
Master Chief looks awesome. I mean, it didn't look like some cheap cosplay. I mean, it really looks like
Just stick to the story, please.
yeah.
Please.
And I mean, hopefully they do. Hopefully it, is what
it's
the fans have been
guaranteed.
wanting, and
It's
it's
guaranteed
got
to
a-
make it. Just
it's
don't
got an
have a
audience just
stupid
waiting
story.
on bated breath for it, as long as somebody doesn't say, well, we took the story that everybody knows and loves and we tweaked it just a lot, because we're
Master
Hollywood.
Chief is now a 100-pound woman. I mean, that's all they're going to do.
It's
You'll
not.
watch.
It's
The
not.
helmet
Met,
comes off.
it's not Metroid.
It'll be Mrs. Kong's. Mrs. Kong's is coming out with the helmet coming off. There we go.
It'll be interesting. Like, it actually looks good to where, like, I want to watch it. Like, a lot of video game shows and movies, as we all know,
Don't have a good track record, to say the
No.
least.
no, especially something as dynamic as the Super Mario Brothers. And I still say somebody needs to redo it and do that justice. No, they need to redo it and do it justice.
They're
too
doing
ruined.
it animated. Remember, we talked about it. They're doing the animated version with Chris Pratt as the voice.
I know, but they need to do it right.
I mean, according to Nintendo, that is the right way to do it. So. I mean, we still haven't got a Legend of Zelda movie. I mean, I feel like that.
Yeah, that would be
slam
really
dunk
cool
that
with real
should have
people.
been
Well,
done.
excuse me, Doug.
Yeah, exactly. As long as that line's in there, it's fine.
I-
But I'm excited for the Halo TV series.
Yeah.
Like I said, hopefully it's sooner rather than later, and we're not having to wait until like November next year to see it. But they got 9 episodes, I believe, is what I saw on IMDb. So relatively short season, which tracks with all the streaming content out there these days. They're much more condensed. They're not like your normal network 22 to 24 episode seasons where they give you 10 episodes of filler and 12 episodes of good story.
So, Scott Gray
Unless you're
says,
watching the new Lost in Space season 3, in which case nothing's been good yet. It's been bleh.
Scott Gray says Amazon's doing a series based on Fallout. This could be awesome. Shoeshine
would be
says the trailer seemed to be to fairly be story, granted, story from the books and not the games, but it seems right. And then Juan wanted to know from Glenn, how much is the wheel at Micro Center?
You know what? That's a really good question. I'll check real quick. I really don't know. It's on the website. It's on the website.
So I don't know. It should be pretty good. But while he's looking for that answer, Doug, there's also another furry, cute staple of video gaming that is doing a part too.
So we were, making the illusion and talking about alluding to. There we go.
There you
Get my
go.
speech pattern correctly. Talking about video game movies and television shows not having a good track record. This one started out shaky with the Sonic movie. The concept art, everything came out, and everybody hated it so much that they literally postponed the movie a year. Spent $28 million retooling Sonic's CGI character before they released the original Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And when they did, people actually liked it. I mean, this is generally considered to be a great video game movie by all accounts. It's good for families, good for video game fans. I mean, it's great. So obviously a sequel, no brainer. It made money. Hollywood's like, yeah, let's go ahead and get a sequel started. And how do they do it? Well, they bring back Jim Carrey, classic Dr. Robotnik, aka Eggman, and he looks the part now. The first one was a little bit of an origin story, so now he definitely 100% looks like Eggman as you anticipate. It's got a Chaos Emerald in it, and we're getting some additional Sonic characters, which I'm super excited about it. So we got Tails.
Yes.
Tails looks phenomenal. We got the original voice actor from the Tails, the cartoon series with Sonic, so that's great. You got this iconic imagery here from Sonic 2, the video game of Tails and Sonic having the plane and everything. And you get Knuckles in it, for crying out loud. Idris Elba's the voice of Knuckles, and we'll see it towards the end of the trailer here. But man, I'm excited for this, especially considering how good the first one was. I've got high hopes. I had low hopes for the first one, but now I've got high hopes for this just because of how good the first one was. I mean, there's just so many little cameo call-outs and things about Sonic's history in the video game that is jam-packed in this trailer alone. The snowboarding, the temple, the Chaos Emerald, and then boom, Knuckles. Looks like a freaking badass. I mean, look at that. Sonic's sitting there trying to spin dash him, and he's like, nah, not today.
I still say there's one flaw with this. Just by looking at the
And
trailer,
that is-
they should have got John Riggs to play Eggman.
Well, I did see he mentioned on Twitter that he's reached out to his cosplay person to make him the Eggman jacket to match this because he wants to, have that new suit ready.
Yeah, I'm just saying, no, it looks good. I'm joking, of course, but John Riggs does do a good Dr. Robotnik.
Oh, he looks
Eggman.
the part very well.
He does do very well. But that looks exciting. That movie
It does, and it does show you.
looks
You
good.
take a game and make it into an entertaining movie. I mean, it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Just follow the character, follow the history. Don't make something up different and that's what ruins it.
Well, I know it's not on Doug's list, but there's another important movie that's coming out next Friday. Very important. It's not on his list, but I'll give him a little bit of a hint.
Spider-Man, Spider does whatever a spider can.
I mean, I could be like the uber nerd and tell you that your logo is incorrect because that's technically the Amazing Spider-Man logo.
It is.
But I'm not going to be.
But
I'm not going to be that guy.
But I have multiple. I have Spider-Man shirts from
Yeah.
all the generations. So
No, man, I'm
I'm
so pumped for
pumped.
this. I'm a huge Spider-Man nerd. This movie's going to make stupid amounts of money in the theaters, especially coming out right before Christmas and everything.
Mhm.
So, yeah, excited
I'm-
to see what secrets of the multiverse are going to, unfold. I got a lot of hopes and expectations and theories, but
I want
after
to see
I'm ready
Tobey
for it.
Maguire. I want Tobey Maguire.
the
in the
rumor
movie.
is all three will be there
Yeah,
because
I
of the
know.
multiverse.
I don't care
but
about the other guy. I don't know I didn't know
Tom-
what the guy's name is.
You don't like Tom Holland?
Andrew Garfield.
Tom Holland.
And you don't like Andrew.
Andrew
You don't like Andrew. You don't-
Garfield. He's named after a cat
'cause-
who likes lasagna.
well,
don't need him. Don't need him.
the
Get him out.
Ugh.
come on, man.
I'm telling you right now, studio, cut him out. Disney. Don't
the
need
best Spider-Man so far, and I hate to say this to you, has been the ones in the Far From Home. Because Spider-Man in the comics, he was a kid.
Yeah.
Not
him.
Tobey
Maguire's still
Maguire.
12.
Not
12 still
Tobey
now.
Maguire.
He's like 80.
Come on.
He's my age.
Come
He's
on.
sucking his thumb.
So right after the show next week, next Friday, I'm going to be getting tickets probably 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're going to go see Spider-Man because I'm anxious to see it. So
Well, if you haven't already got your tickets, you may be in for a shock because
we're in Bodunk area. We'll be able to get it.
All right,
Even,
you play that game.
even Ghostbusters. We literally walked in. There was like nobody in the theater but us.
Okay, well, congratulations on living in the middle of nowhere.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
We'll
So I
be
have
able to get
a super chat I got to give a shout out
Yeah,
to.
go
So
for it.
this is from Dylan Rackle. It says, "You three are great. Doug being stoic, yet occasionally succumbing to Glenn's antics, and Steven trying to keep the car from veering off the cliff. Kudos." So thank you very much, Dylan. I greatly appreciate that. And I probably couldn't have summed that up any better than that.
I was just going to say,
pretty much, you
You know
nailed
what?
that one.
Out of everyone I know,
nailed it.
these two probably keep me under control the best because people have tried.
Mhm.
So
Well-
I take it off to both of them.
Guys, we're really trying to. We've got something in the works for 2022 that's going to be huge, bigger than YouTube, bigger than anything.
Huge.
Bigger than my ego.
We've had some
That big.
opportunities presented to us, and we're really excited about it. And as soon as we know some information, we're going to share it with you guys. But it's huge for this show. So because we love doing the show, whether we have 10 people watching, 100 people watching, it doesn't matter. We like the banter, and it's at least we all don't agree with each other. That wouldn't make for a good
Yeah.
show. So
We just need to get that little thing you could press when you want to beat me out. When I say
you know what the thing is,
mute
Glenn?
button.
beat me out. Yeah.
Glenn, it could come around where Kathleen Kennedy could end up seeing your rants.
They renewed her contract. What is wrong with them? What is wrong with you, Lucasfilm and Disney? My God, what is wrong with you? Oh my God.
How do you
Seriously?
really feel?
How do I really feel? She's sick.
He's still there.
That was perfectly timed. Perfectly timed.
Sorry, I had to have a little
You
fun.
broke-
I had to have a
Yeah,
little
you
fun
broke
with it.
Glenn.
You do that to me. I was frantic.
I put him in the green room. I put him in timeout for you guys because I figured you
There you
want.
go.
I'm just messing with him.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, that could she could very well see
I
it
would
at some point.
love to have a 3-on-1 with Kathleen. That didn't come out right.
Yeah. Whoa.
I was just thinking,
Phrasing, Glenn.
like that clip from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. If I could have her here right now, right, Doug? I would put a bow on her.
I don't know about that.
No, that's what he would. It's like when
okay.
when he says it. That's what
Would
Glenn
love
would do.
the opportunity to talk to Miss Kennedy. I really would.
Oh, I'm sure. And she would love to talk to you as long as there's 100.
Oh, Doug, $100 in my pocket? That'd be great. She could talk to me. I'll pay you $100, Doug. That is so nice for you to say.
Again.
Yeah, no, go ahead. If they had what, Doug? You cut out there for a second.
Yeah, sorry, bad internet.
No,
as
you're
long as
good.
there's 100 feet of space in between her and Glenn, and there's
Well,
armed guards.
That's from the
and all that.
restraining order. But if
Yeah,
she's coming on
exactly.
my show, they're gonna have to take the restraining order and cut that up.
You did get her re-signed. You realize that, right? Because you always talk
How
about
did we
it.
go from Spider-Man to this?
I don't know. He brought either way. Let's get to the video game awards. Let's talk about that for a little bit. These guys want to hear about that, and
Yeah, so
not
the
Kathleen Kenny.
Video Game Awards were last night.
And they were
Atari took every single.
no. Atari did not.
Atari PT, Atari Adventure.
No, they
Atari
didn't.
Comic-
They didn't take it. He's back. Let him do this.
I'll try. Like I said, internet's
That's all right.
being awful today. But yeah, video game 4 hours stream. They had everything you wanted in a video game awards, like a live performance from Sting, and Imagine Dragons. Because
Did I want
why
that?
talk
I don't know
about
if I
video
wanted that.
games or give video game awards out when you can have a live performance from Imagine Dragons or Sting? So
Yeah, I don't know if that
That
really
was
fits
weird.
with my thoughts. That doesn't really work.
you didn't have that in your bingo card as far as what you want to see on a video game award show?
No.
Yeah.
Why didn't it have Jeffrey
Who would-
Buckner from Pac-Man Fever? That's who you need.
Yeah. I don't
Do
know.
the Donkey
But
Kong.
to give you a summation of the highlights, so to speak, because like I said, it's a 4-hour stream. Lots of cool reveals and trailers and everything, but like I said, 4 hours, that's a lot of time. But
Yeah,
the
who
game of
was
the
the
year
winners?
was It Takes Two. So It Takes Two was the game of the year, beat out Deathloop, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and Resident Evil Village. So those were the other games that beat.
Really?
Yeah. The best VR game was Resident Evil 4. The best action game was Returnal. The best action adventure game was Metroid Dread. The best role-playing game was Tales of Arise. The best fighting game was Guilty Gear Strive. And the best sports/racing, because they want to split it up and actually combine it for whatever reason, even though it should be two totally different things, but whatever. Forza Horizon 5 was the best sports/racing game. So those are your big ones. There was a bunch of other categories, but my biggest pet peeve is they like sped through this. Like they would have all these weird, live performances from Sting, and then a game trailer or 10, and then hey, we're gonna give out 5 awards, but we're gonna do it like here's the winner next, here's the winner next. Like they didn't actually like show or let anybody talk or accept an award or anything like that. It's like, hey, here's your moment of your moment in the sun, so to speak. You and your team did all this, hard work, been over a computer for 72 hours for, 3 years straight to produce this game. You're finally getting your accolades, and we're just gonna show a word that says your game won. Next, your game won. Next. I mean, it just feels so disingenuous that they would do such a thing.
I can't believe Resident Evil didn't win that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing. This in particular, I think there's only literally one category on here that is actually voted on by the general public. So how and why they come up with their winners, that's a 100% independent thing. So you can take that with a grain of salt. Just because somebody labeled this the game show or the video game awards and has money to produce this doesn't mean necessarily that they're the foremost authority on what is the best.
Was Sting one of the producers? Just wondering.
No, still trying to understand how he was roped into that, because just the demographic that listens to Sting doesn't necessarily
Right.
line up, in my opinion, with the demographic that is playing all these new games. So
like somebody said in the chat room here, Bonds McCoy, he goes, It Takes Two. He goes, I don't even know if I ever heard of this game. And I have to agree, like even Metroid Dread, Ratchet and Clank is one of the greatest games of all time. Sorry if you disagree with me, but you're wrong.
And they had a good movie. Or
Well,
decent.
no, in all seriousness, it is a good game, and it's very high valued right now. But Resident Evil Village, I don't know, man. That's a good game.
well, I I mean, I look at these things in the same way I look at like something like the Oscars. Like the general public, you know, they're like, "Oh my God, Infinity War was the greatest movie I've seen, and it made, you know, stupid amounts of money." Infinity War is not going to win the Oscar for Best Picture.
Sure.
It's not even going to be,
No.
you know, because it's not the same kind of caliber that those type of things are judged and critiqued on. And I just assume it's going to be the same type of thing. Like It Takes Two, I'm familiar with it. Fantastic looking game, appeals to massive audiences because it's, you know, a family friendly game. It's got a, you know, a lighthearted story. It's got great visuals and everything. It's obviously going to have more appeal to a general person than something like Resident Evil Village, which
can
is
I
gonna
ask
have
you a question?
much more focused. Yeah.
Why on earth do you put Final Fantasy 14 in the same
Online.
category as Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Fortnite? Like that makes no sense. Just because it's online.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, because all of those games are essentially something that get, you know, refreshed with, you know, quarterly expansions and reboots and things like that. So it's essentially the same game that keeps going and going, lamb chop style.
Disagree.
It's the game that never ends.
How did Warcraft not get under there or something? Jeez, that game won't die.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you have all these games.
If you can, I don't know where it is above or below this, but if you look, there was one thing I thought was very telling.
Best narrative?
It was like the best, no, it was like best family game, I think was maybe the category.
Let me go down.
Like I said, I can't remember if it's up or down, but it was,
there's a lot.
It was something along those lines. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Oh, so best family. There you go.
Yeah, so best family. So It Takes Two won that again. But notice, who do you think of when you think of family games? And you'll see their name in parentheses by all the other games. Nintendo.
That's what I'm saying.
Nintendo
like Mario Party would have been. Yeah.
Nintendo lost their own freaking category because I guarantee you this category didn't exist, you know, without Nintendo. So,
right.
I mean, they got 4 out of 5 things on the freaking, you know, the voting, and they still lost.
And they still lost.
I was like,
yeah,
wow.
And
that's got to sting if you're Nintendo.
And I hate to say this, but I am not a FIFA fan. Okay. But overall, if you look at the reviews for FIFA 22 right now, it's one of the best sports games that are out in the market.
Well, a lot of the rest of the world loves FIFA.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not all about the States, man.
I'm not. Well, that's what I'm saying. I am not a soccer fan, or as the Europeans call football.
Yeah. The footy ball.
But it's better than Forza Horizon 5. Like, come on.
I don't know about that. Forza's pretty awesome. I mean,
not better than FIFA, I don't think.
It passed over Gran Turismo in my eyes. I mean, if you
want I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's why I think like the racing thing should be separated from sports in general. I think it just feels weird to me to have racing and soccer and basketball and hockey and all those things intertwined. I think it should be 2 separate categories.
It Takes Two wins best multiplayer as well.
Yeah, it won tons of awards. It had a fantastic night. It was obviously the standout of the awards show. But I mean, if people were going in there, I'm probably under the assumption that Glenn, you weren't familiar with It Takes Two, and Steven, you said you weren't either.
No, I wasn't familiar with them.
But now I want to check it out. It Takes Two to make things go right. It Takes Two.
If I had access to like the Google, you know, search results for today, I'm willing to bet that Google, you know, search traffic for It Takes Two video game probably skyrocketed 9,000% because there were so many people that aren't familiar with that game at all. So, you're not alone if you're scratching your head going, "How did this win?" Because I don't think a lot of people were probably familiar with the game.
So, most anticipated game, I would have had to go with God of War or the sequel to Breath of the Wild, even though I'm not a big Breath of the Wild fan.
Which is such a weird category to begin with.
I agree.
Because I
agree. But what would you pick out of that? Not Elder Ring, of course.
I probably would, because I know
would you really?
Worldwide. I mean, my personal pick would be Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But as far as what I understand in gaming,
heard that? What is Zelda?
Elden Ring. Elden Ring probably has, in my opinion, the most global appeal and has the, I think correctly is the most anticipated game out there.
So innovation and accessibility presented by Chevrolet. Far Cry 6 is in this list.
I don't even know what that category means, so I don't even know how to critique that.
So I would have to say Forza Horizon 5, even though I know nothing about it from what you're just telling me, that it's something that is really good. Compared to some of these other games, I'm like, Okay, I can see why they won that. Best esports game, League of Legends.
So yeah, I mean, no, that's a
that might-
cultural type of thing. So like,
No, that might be
here in the
that might be
States,
true.
like, yeah, here in the States, it's obviously, Fortnite, Call of Duty, all those type of things. But on the other side of the world, League of Legends is massive. I mean, it's truly
It's a
the
legend.
original esport, so to speak. I mean, that's where people really started making money in a career and video games was from League of Legends.
Yeah, we can disagree with this, but I have a hard time with some of these. It's like, if you sponsor these events, of course your product's going to get picked.
Mhm.
Yep.
If you're paying them,
Well, I mean, yeah, you can assume that. And like I said, it goes back to the independent judging and how all this is picked, because it's not picked by texting blah 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 live or anything like that. No, that's not the case. It's behind closed doors, supposedly by industry, analysts and experts and people within the video game business themselves. Supposedly that's how this is judged, but who honestly knows? My biggest critique is, like, number one, it's 4 hours long and you don't have enough time to give people 5 seconds to say thank you, and you're like spinning through all these awards and just having them like as a rolling ticker on the bottom of the screen. I think that's a little rough to say the least about people's hard work. And then secondly, like, we got a bunch of awesome trailers, like the Halo TV trailer, the Sonic trailer, and all these cool game reveals. If you're gonna do game reveals, I think it should be like a requirement that there should be at least like 10% of your trailer has to show actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Instead of just being 100% pre-rendered CGI, footage.
well, before we go, we do have one
good point.
home arcade story for you guys. Not really a story,
Mhm.
but At Games is doing a giveaway for you guys out there, and we're going to tell you all about it right now.
Ho, ho, ho!
So there you guys go. If you want to get your game room, if you like to decorate your game room, for one, I don't do a lot. I've got in the front of my game room, I don't know if you guys saw it on the console cam here that I have, but I actually put some Star Wars plushies up there. I have Vader and Yoda and a Stormtrooper that are there usually every year, but that's the most I do in my game room for any kind of holiday decorations and Christmas. And so, yeah, that's where we're at right now. Next week, the final show of 2021, because Christmas Eve falls on a Friday. New Year's Eve falls on a Friday. So we will be back probably the following Friday after that. So, yeah, it's gonna be a good one. So we should have episode.
Enjoy your time
86.
with your friends and family this year, everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
For people who have friends.
Well, you keep scaring them all away. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Douglas Smith, youtube.com/cooltoy. You guys can check him out. And I encourage you to go check out his video about the Stern and Arcade 1-Up on which pinball is better. This is one of the videos that you
Cancel
will
Cool Toy.
you will-
Cancel Cool Toy.
you will
Don't watch his
actually hear
videos.
you will actually hear Doug say which pinball table is better. All you that ask.
True.
Dun.
It's not true at all.
He tells you which one you should buy based on the money that you have. No, I'm just kidding. We're just trying to see if that would increase views. But no. So next Friday we'll be back. Same bad time, same bad channel. Mr. Glenn Planamento, youtube.com/gplanamento. If you missed this video earlier today, that was right before the show, which made him show up last minute, late. You can go over to his channel, which I encourage you to do so, and go watch it.
Or just go to your local micro center. You don't have to watch the video.
Oh,
Run to your local micro center.
And I'm still working on it. Like I'm trying to be motivated to do YouTube videos, and I'm just not motivated. But can I show you something real quick? So, I actually subscribed to something,
Uh-oh.
and it's physical, Old School Gamer magazine.
Yep.
Physical
I'm
media.
in one of those, you know.
You are, but you're not in this one.
No, I'm not.
But
it wouldn't take me every week.
I'll tell you, the way they shipped this out, it was in a nice envelope to protect it. If you guys are interested in getting magazines, you know, go to oldschoolgamer.com. I get no money out of this. I paid for this with my own money. I bought a subscription, digital and physical. But what's a game room without a physical gaming magazine? So,
and the cool thing about that, though, is if you want to try it, if you go to the website, you can get free versions of it.
yes.
It's only maybe like half the pages in it, but it gives you a good idea what it's about. And I subscribe to it as well. I get digital and I get the paper copy. Mine came today, as a matter of fact, too. Very good articles in there. And there's so few good gaming magazines now. You know, back when we were growing up, you had Electronic Gaming Monthly, you had New Age Gamer, Next Gen, blah, 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 blah. Now it's just good to have one of these magazines out, and it's decent.
Well, and I think for the people here, really quick, let me just go to my over top cam for mission control. This isn't. Whoops. Let me pull this out. This isn't just for consoles. You guys aren't a console gamer, and that's totally cool. But check this out. They have let me go over here. They have Arcade 1-Up stuff in here for advertisements. They've got iArcade. iArcade's got a good spread in here of different things. So it's not just console gaming, which I thought was really cool.
They talk about all different things.
Yes,
all different things.
And then you get a nice cool poster, which fell out when I was just dialing. But I thought it was really cool, and I thought,
and it's not expensive either.
No,
to get the thing, it's not expensive at all.
I just wish it was monthly instead of bi-monthly, but you know, it's all good. I know it's
as they get more subscribers, it may.
That's what I was hoping for. Yeah. So putting it out there to anybody if you want to check it out. Again, we don't get anything for it, but I figured it was worth mentioning this week for you guys. So, all right, that's all we've got for you today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Until next time, you guys know where to find me, and we'll see you. And keep it buzzing.